Hello, good evening. Welcome to you all in Inner Space, Wembley. Those who have come in house, online, very welcome. Is there anyone here come for the first time? Warm welcome to you. And today we have Parmjit Basra, all the way from Leicester, on our talk today, Banishing Burnout. A little bit about Parmjit Basra. He's a student and a teacher for the past 27 years, the Raj Yoga meditation teacher. And he has been really giving his talks and workshops throughout UK and mainly in Leicester. So we welcome Parmjit Basra for tonight's talk. Sit back and enjoy.
Nice to see so many smiling faces. And today's topic is banishing burnout. Are you burnt out? Or you're at that tipping point? Well, I want to explore some of the reasons why people come to that point. Why is it that they lose that passion that they once had, that motivation, that zeal and enthusiasm, and then suddenly it's like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and it's not what I wanted, not what I expected, and I don't know where I can find that sort of spark again. So I want to explore the reasons why we lose that spark, but also how to regain that spark, yes? You want that? So I've had a variety of careers. I started off in textiles, and my ambition, like everyone else, I wanted to have a status in life. I wanted to acquire wealth, and I did all of those things. But you know what? It didn't make me happy. It was happiness for a short while, but it didn't last long. There was always a sense of insecurity because there was the feeling that I could lose it all. And not just losing it all, there was this constant comparison game that was going on. It's a very competitive world that we live in, isn't it? Everyone's competing with each other. Everyone's comparing themselves with each other. And the more I got into it, the more I realized that inside, I lost that spark, that enthusiasm to sort of embark on the path that I originally ventured onto. And of course, the business failed. There were a set of circumstances which was beyond my family's control. And there was a different feeling. And then the feeling was, why did this happen? It should have been like this. If only this, I should have done that. And then in my mind, I was looking at who to blame. You know, because we're very good at pointing the finger at others, but we don't like to point the finger at ourselves, do we? You know what they say, be careful who you point the finger to, because there's three pointing back. So then I went through a period where it was absolute hell. Not out there. Physically, I was very healthy, had a wonderful family, but in my mind, I just couldn't switch off. It was like I was replaying the events that happened once, and in my mind, it was like a repeat. Every day was a repeat of that incident, of that situation. And of course, when you replay the event, you have those roller coaster of emotions, all that baggage that goes with it. And really, it was through the course of those events that I got into meditation, and it was a real eye-opener. It made me realize the problem that I thought was out there, it was actually inside of me. And equally, the solution wasn't out there, it was inside me. It's just that I wasn't looking in the right place. I wasn't searching within myself. Because if you ask anyone, where is happiness? Where is peace? They'll always say, well, it's inside. So if it's inside, why is it not that we have connected with that peace and happiness? Why isn't it we've experienced those feelings of intoxication permanently? So why is it we get trapped in this world that's absolutely becoming more and more degraded? It's almost like it's lost the will to live. you look at people in today's world, you look at their faces. They're so tired. They have everything that science can offer. They have health, they have wealth, they have amazing things. And look at you. You still got mobile phones, you know? Everything is trapping you. So what happens is we think our happiness, our self-respect, our contentment will be fulfilled when we achieve this, when we have this, or when we have that. But the reality is, what we actually do is that we give away our own sovereignty to the external world, and that becomes a dependency for how I feel on the inside. So when the weather is nice, when the economy is doing well, I can pay the bills, I'm okay. But when the economy goes down and the health goes, the relationships breaks down, I lose my job, how does one feel? So can I be in a place where I can cope and overcome that constant change? Because I want to be in a place, I'm sure you do as well, where no matter what happens on the external world, in this inner world of mine, I want to be completely the master of the self. Yeah? And I'm going to explore how we can do that. So why is it that we lose our own sovereignty? I think it's probably because we've been conditioned from a very young age. You know, we're influenced by the external world, whether it's our religion, whether it's our nationality, whether it's our job, our wealth, our looks, everything from the outside. But when we get into that, there's a feeling of greatness. We feel, yeah, I feel really good about my belief systems, about my position, about my looks. But actually, all of those things are very temporary. And it creates an illusion, which I fall into, thinking that my happiness is on the outside. For example, I may feel that I need to have a relationship. Anyone in a relationship here? Oh, okay, we've got a few who's raising their hands in a relationship. You know what happens when we get into a relationship? Because we think that person, that individual, those groups of people will make us happy. So we get into a relationship, and at that moment in time, it's a wonderful relationship. That moment in time, it's like heaven. Why? Because at that moment in time, there is acceptance. So when there's acceptance, I'm happy inside. Because when I accept the other person, and there's no conditions attached, they will accept us. So the relationship is based on equals. But as the relationship develops, what happens is, instead of accepting the other individual, we start imposing conditions. So we have expectations. And if they meet those expectations, if they tick all the boxes, how do we feel? We feel good. We feel happy. Why not? But then equally, they are also putting conditions on the relationship. So based on this, where the individuals have expectations and those expectations are not met, it's inevitable the relationship will burn out. People will become tired. They feel, I want to get out of that relationship. I don't want to see that person anymore because they make me so whatever. And so eventually you get out of the relationship and then you feel lonely again. You feel, at first there's that elation that you've got out of that relationship that seemed to have trapped you. Now you feel lonely again. So what do? We do the same thing that we did before. We start looking to the external world for how we feel on this inner world. So I want another relationship. Not realizing I'm actually going to do the same thing that I did before. So based on this, if I'm looking to the external world for my happiness, then I'm going to be disappointed. For a brief moment, I feel happy. You may find that you have a job. You get promotion. You feel happy. You got a big paycheck, and you think, yeah, I've arrived. I'm someone. And then you realize there's someone better than you who's got a bigger paycheck, who's got a bigger title. So what happens? We are starting to get into this culture of comparing ourselves with others, competing. I'm better than you. My religion is better than yours. My job is better than yours. My situation is better than yours. And this leads to the arrogant I and the disheartened I. The arrogant I is, no one is better than me. I can do this better than you. And the disheartened I, I'm not good enough. So both of these will eventually make us feel exhausted, and we will never be happy. So in today's world, and I've been there, and I've experienced it, everyone's is so insecure. Because when you have something, you think it would give you happiness, a relationship, children, family, a job, a safe country like the UK in relative terms with the rest of the world. But there's still this feeling of emptiness. There's still this feeling of tiredness. It's like I'm going through the same old routine, but each day I do it, my happiness seems to diminish. It seems to become smaller and smaller, and then I don't know what to do. That's because, as I said, we've been conditioned from a very young age. We see it in adverts, we see it in our peers, we see it in our family. It's just like we're told that we will only be satisfied when we have this, when we achieve that. And when we do, how long is the happiness? How long do we feel that we are worth something or that we are someone? It's an illusion. It's very, very temporary. And I think this recent COVID has really shown people how dependent they had become on certain things, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a job, whether it was their living environment. And suddenly it was taken away from them. And when something is taken away from us, we feel helpless. Yeah? We feel at that moment very vulnerable. And we don't know what to do. There's a sense of confusion. So we're sort of searching. But still, we're searching on the external level. Where should we be searching? Internally. See, the problem is not with the job. It's not a problem with the relationship. It's not a problem with the outside world. The problem is with me. Because I'm not happy with myself. I don't know how to learn how to love myself. How to have that self-respect. Because when I was in business, I had that status. I would always introduce myself. I'm a director. People like that word, don't they? I'm a director. And, of course, you not only have your name, but you have all these initials behind you. Because it tells the world, I am someone. I'm someone important. But what's that feeding is my own ego. That's the arrogant I. And I used to have on my business card all of those. And then I realized the arrogance of the self. And then what I did, I said, get rid of the director, get rid of all my qualifications, and just put down my name and the company's name. That's it. And you know what? The moment I introduced myself, people felt very secure. Because there was none of this, oh, I'm better than you. You may not say it, but they're definitely judging you, and you're judging them. There's a lot of judgment that goes out in today's world. It's this constant scanning, top to bottom. They'll look at the way you are, how you dress, and they'll even position you where you are in the social hierarchy. But the moment you let go, there's this freedom, there's this sense of freedom that comes about because you get out of the cycle of this competition, comparisons, comments and criticisms, and you realize that actually all I ever wanted to do was to be me. Don't you want to be just you? All I ever wanted was to be me and accepted by others as I am, what I am, without any conditions attached. But in this world, nothing comes unconditionally. I was just thinking recently, I don't know if you saw the news about the Finnish Prime Minister. I think she's about 36, 30. She became a leader of the government at the age of 33. And she'd gone partying, and she'd been filmed, and it was put on social media. And immediately, there was this default thinking by some generations that she must have been high on drugs. And she said, no, I have never taken drugs in my life. And she actually put herself for a drugs test, and it revealed that she hadn't taken any forms of drug whatsoever. But this is what the world is like. It's very judgmental. No one accepts an individual as they are what they are. No wonder people are tired. People are mistrusting of each other. So how do I get rid of it? How do I banish all of this false ego, this illusion? Well, I think we have to look at ourselves first and foremost. As I said, when things go wrong, we blame others. When things go well, we take the credit. Yes? We love being praised, don't we? And our ego loves to be massaged. But when things go wrong, oh, it's definitely not me. It was because of you, because of that. But when you start looking at the self, you realize the problem is me. It's because I don't understand and realize who I truly am. Because I think I am so-and-so. Now, that's the first mistake we've made, is that we have attached ourselves to a label, a role, not realizing that all of us are just actors playing roles. The moment I shift this consciousness that I'm an actor playing a role, then when the role finishes, I let it go. But if I'm attached to the role, then I become dependent on the role, the label, how I emotionally feel on the inside. So if I'm respected because of my religion, because of my belief systems, because of my age, my looks, well, it will not last. So I need to discard all of that, and I need to look at myself. And when I look at myself, it's not a nice place to go to begin with, because I'm going to see things about myself that are going to shock me, because I'm going to realize how false I had become. You know, it's like saying you're looking in the mirror of truth and you're seeing you, and you realize all I was doing was putting on a facade, an illusion, because I pleased others because I wanted to be accepted by them. And I did everything I could so that I could belong to them. But what did I do? I sacrificed my integrity, my own self-respect, and so I became subservient to this, what I would say, this very external culture that we live in. So we've got to discard these labels and roles. It doesn't mean I don't have ambition, I can't have a relationship. No, on the contrary. I have ambition. I'm on my 4th career now. I'm a builder at the moment. I love it. I've got real passion for it. And I've always enjoyed it since I was young. But since I woke up from this sleep of ignorance, I've realized myself as this unique, wonderful being. So instead of looking for happiness on the outside, I've realized I always had it. I always had it. We all have it. But I've got to spend some time with myself. I've got to get to know the real me. And that means I need to spend some quality time with myself. And the moment I look inwards, I will see the real me, the beautiful me. It's not a being that's temporary. It's not a being that's chasing after the outside things. No. It's realizing everything that I ever wanted in life. And what do we want in life? Happiness, peace, contentment, love, truth, self-respect. Where is that? It's within us. We think we will have it if we have a new car, a big house, a title, new looks. Look at that model, that supermodel. She was the face of the 90s. But she in her own words, admitted she became vain. Because she couldn't cope with the change. That's what burnout is. It's the inability to cope with external change. So she had this operation. Actually, she saw an advert, and she convinced herself, this is the illusion, she convinced herself that she would be forever young if she took this, because it would avoid the fat growing around her chin. And of course, it had some side effects, and it went horribly wrong. And then she couldn't show her face. For many years, she hid herself away. That's what you call a sort of a physical burnout, because of your attachment to looks. The moment you let go of all of that and you look inward, you'll find it's not about the change, it's about accepting. Because the one thing that people always say, change is constant. So in today's world, we don't have the resources to cope with change. But when we focus inwards, we will actually find there's an ocean of resources that will enable us to cope with whatever storms come, whatever waves will come, I can ride them out. It's because I'm accepting myself unconditionally. So the first step of freeing ourselves from this trap is that we need to turn inwards. We need to look at ourselves. And that means not making judgments. I'm not putting myself down. It's very easy to sort of put the self down. No, I'm actually accepting I have these strengths and weaknesses. If you've ever done a SWOT analysis, you'll understand strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. You know, that's all we're doing. It's a self-analysis. So I'm realizing I have these weaknesses. I'm not denying them. I'm accepting them. I'm acknowledging them. And then I also realize that behind that facade, there's this diamond covered in mud that's wanting to come out to shine. It's just that I forgot to appreciate my own worth. So when I realize I'm this wonderful being inside, that's the moment I'll have that spark back. And I found that spark 27 years ago. And it was a wonderful moment. And I have to say, it was my wife that pushed me into it, because my arrogant self didn't like to be told what to do, especially by my wife. Because you know, when the arrogant I comes, I can never be wrong. And the defense, the guard that keeps the arrogant I up there is anger. So we display a lot of anger. And I had a lot of anger when I was younger. But when I started to do meditation and realized who I am, that anger went. I didn't say to myself, I'm not going to get angry, I'm not going to become peaceless, I'm not going to become unhappy. No, I didn't do that. Because all that does, it would have sort of created that energy and I would have been trapped. What I said to myself, I'm a wonderful being. I'm a loving being. I am a wonderful actor. And no one can play my role better than myself. And the moment I started to realize that, I felt a sense of real freedom. For the first time, I accepted myself as I am, what I am. This was the moment I could finally have closure to the past. Because there were no more expectations. Because there was the realization of who I am. And I'll explore a little bit more of this who I am. And the moment I accepted myself, I felt very secure. This is the moment I step outside of that sort of up and down roller coaster, going round and round, always going down. I no longer had to prove myself to anyone. It didn't matter if someone was better looking than me, had more money, or had more status. It was about me accepting the self. Until we accept ourselves, we cannot let go of this very dependent world that we have got used to. Now, during the COVID, I felt very comfortable. I know there was a lot of challenging situations for people, and there were a lot of family bereavements, and people were not able to say their goodbyes or farewells. But I knew, actually, they're just a soul. They're just an actor playing a role. And it's their time to let go of that role. And I need to let go. So what was causing us this fear, anxiety, stress is attachment. Attachment leads to fear. You know, it's like the model. It's the attachment to the looks, and there's the fear of I'm growing old. When I had my first white hair, oh my gosh. I thought the whole world had that sort of collapse. No one noticed my white hair except for me. What did I do? What would you do in that situation? Those who are on that verge of having that white hair, what would you do? Of course, you would pluck it out, wouldn't you? Instantly, order is restored. Self-respect is, yes, I'm okay. Watch out, world. Drop Dead Gorgeous is coming. And then they keep popping up. You can't stop it. It's the change. But I couldn't cope with the change. It's because I've convinced myself, and society has convinced me, I will only be someone if I do this or look like that. So we fall into the trap. So they market all these products to that, yes, when you buy this, you will be forever young. That is an illusion. They know how to make money. So I decided, okay, if I keep pulling the hairs out, I'm going to have no more hair left. So it's better to have some hair than no hair. So I decided to have the white hair. And, you know, once I accepted it, the moment I said yes, I was free. Who cares if someone is saying you've got white hair? Nobody noticed it until I brought it to their attention. This is what people do. Most people have got so much on their own plate, they haven't got time to think about others. But we think we're the center of the world. Everyone's thinking about us. Every human being in this world considers themselves to be the center of the universe. There's about 8 billion of us. It's time to let go. Actually, all of us, 8 billion plus, we're all unique. No two actors are the same. No one can play your role better than you. All I got to do is to play my role. And the moment I pay attention to myself, that's when I find happiness. That's when I find contentment. And that's when I find that my first responsibility is to myself. So letting go of the world, letting go of possessions, positions, pay, power, doesn't mean I kick the world into touch and I become an island. No. It means that whatever I have, I look after it as a trustee. The relationship, your family, this body, look after it. It doesn't mean I don't care. Of course I care. It's like you have a vehicle. If you don't look after your car, then who's going to suffer? The car or the driver? So you're the driver of this vehicle, the body. So look after your body. Have a healthy diet. Get exercise. Don't get into this trap. Oh, I am no one. I can't do this. I can't do that because others have said so. Don't get into this situation of being influenced by someone else's comment about you. It's not about how they see you, it's how you see yourself. That's when you have that spark back in your life. That's when you have motivation. So when I took redundancy from my third career, which I was a manager in adult education, I used to manage 6 other managers. And when they said, oh, we're having an organizational review, which basically means we're going to discard some of you people. A lot of my colleagues were in tears. They were crying. Why? Because they had become attached to that role. Their whole life was invested in that role. Their friends, their status, their money. And now it was being taken away from them. For me, it was all smiles. I wasn't smiling externally because it would be rude. But inside I was happy. I was content. Because I realized it was just a role change. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is the location and the role. Now there are going to be new actors coming into my life, and I need to play my role to the utmost ability that I can show, with respect, with love, with kindness. And the moment I'm playing my role, I make others feel secure. Because they're not competing with me, because I'm not giving out those vibrations, I'm better than you. Inside, I may be, outside I'm looking at with you, but inside I'm thinking about you, I'm better than you. Look at what you're wearing and look what I've got. No. Because I feel secure, I allow others to be themselves. This is how relationships flourish. So the expectation turns back to acceptance. So the first person I need to accept is myself. And who am I? I'm this wonderful being. I'm this wonderful actor. But this being, I need to discover and realize this being is eternal. This being is the one that's the life force in this body. This being is the one that sees, thinks, feels. But I have convinced myself I'm actually this. What does the body want? Does the body want peace? Does the body want love? It's probably asking for, I probably want a bit of sugar, a bit of water, a bit of starch, carbohydrates. But you, the being, what do you want? Love, kindness, compassion, enthusiasm. So when I'm being my authentic self, that's the moment I experience the real me. And all I'm doing is connecting with myself. I'm spending my time to get to know me. I'm not judging, I'm accepting. And when I'm realizing my true self, it's then I tap into those resources that I was talking about. The ability to let go, the ability to mold, the ability to switch off, the ability to cooperate. All of these wonderful qualities and powers, spiritual powers that we have. And when I'm being myself, it doesn't matter what I do. Age is not a barrier. Gender is not a barrier. Location is not a barrier. If someone said to me, you can't do this, you're too old. Who says I'm too old? Are you old? It's just a number. Our former head of the organization, and those of you know about the Brahma Kumaris, is an organization that's represented in over 130 countries. And she became the head of the organization, I think at the age of about 95. Most people at the age of 95 are already retired. No, she becomes the head of this multinational spiritual organization, and up to the age of 104. She played a wonderful role. So age is not a barrier. She says, it's just a number. I don't feel old. So that passion for life is within you. You just need to connect with it. So there's nothing that you can't do. There's everything you can do. So one of the things that we should avoid is stop looking at others and thinking about others. These are two of the primary reasons why we are held back, why we hold ourselves back. Because when we look at others, we're comparing and competing. When we're thinking about others, then our mind is not free. We're not able to create those thoughts about the self. So spend some quality time with the self. Realize I'm an actor playing a role. Appreciate your roles and appreciate everyone. So since embarking on a builder, people often find it strange because I'm always talking about empowering things. I love interacting with the public, and I find I get business very easily. I don't have to work at it. It seems like people come to me. And you know, when you're authentic here, you do that outside as well. So there's integrity, there's honesty, there's truth. And so people appreciate these things. There's no falsehood in this. And because I'm being my genuine self, people feel very secure. And so my relationship, first and foremost with myself, is wonderful. It's not an arrogant, oh, me. It's not that type of relationship. No, it's just accepting the self. And when I make a mistake, when I do things wrong, I'm not punishing myself. I'm saying, okay, that's happened. How can I improve myself? So when situations come to test me, when individuals push my buttons, I don't look at, oh, they're like this, they're like that, they should do this, they should do that. No, I'm saying, here is an opportunity for me to grow. So the question I always ask is, what is this individual, this situation has come to teach me about myself that I don't know? So it could be the aspect of being patient. Ever been stuck in a traffic jam? Can't get a parking space? I drove down here. I forgot to ask, are there any parking facilities? But I knew London. London is London. Parking is always at a premium. So I parked nearby, paid my parking fees. That's it. No problems. But some people get very stressed about little things. So when you're in control of yourself, it's almost like everything comes to you. When you are being your natural self, you'll find it's almost like the whole world is in alignment with you. When you are not accepting yourself, when you're competing, it's every turn that you take, there seems to be some sort of opposition. There seems to be an obstacle. So always ask yourself the question, what has this individual or situation come to teach me about myself? And when I realize that lesson, I will say, I've learned something about myself. Maybe it's to be kind. Maybe it's to be generous. And when we start exhibiting all these virtues, you will find they'll be reciprocated. People will give them back to you. When you're nice to them, they're nice to you. But it's not based on expectations. So when I'm being myself, it doesn't matter whether someone is nice to me or not. Because if I'm expecting a thank you from others, if I'm expecting a kind word, then I've become dependent again. All I got to do is to be kind to the self, to be my true self. And the more I stay in my own self-respect, the more free I become from the outside world. And then, everything I do, there's a passion. I love doing new things, being creative. So don't hold back. You want to do something? You want a career change? You want to go to the other side of the world? Do it. Because if you don't do it now, you never will. We have this saying, if not now, then never. Don't be afraid. It's when we let go of our own insecurities, that's when we find we can do amazing things. Stop listening to others. Stop comparing. Stop competing. Be your natural self. Let go of the masks. I'm an actor playing a role. So who is the being behind the actor? Well, we know this physical body is constantly changing. Yes? I've shared my white hair. My waistline, expanding, contracting, seems to be fairly constant. The skin is being good, because you have to look after your body. You can't neglect it. People think, well, I've let go of everything. No. We have to fulfill our responsibilities to the self, to family, to friends, to society, to the environment. We can only do that when we first accept ourselves. We fulfill our own responsibilities. So the feelings that we have, the emotions that we have, is of our own making. No one gives us sorrow. No one gives us happiness. We give ourselves happiness and we give ourselves sorrow. Why? Because we take sorrow. You may say, I don't give sorrow. always nice to people. But people are not nice to me. That's expectations. So you're taking sorrow. Would you buy a defective good? Of course not. You know it's defective. So when people are saying nice things to you, accept them. When people are saying not so nice things, reject them. So you're always giving happiness, but you never take sorrow. Never take sorrow. And that's when you will feel that spring in your step. So enjoy life, have a wonderful time, and who knows what's around the corner. But you know one thing? You will accept it, and you will embrace it. And when situations come to you, people come to you, and you think, wow, that was really fantastic. So I've had the privilege of traveling the world, been to most parts of the world, and I've met some amazing people. And the people that are amazing is because they're not pretending to be something or someone. I met someone who said, you know, wealthy are not those who have the most, but those who need the least. And I thought, so true. So the happiest faces I've ever met are those people who have very little in their lives. So they always have enthusiasm. You know why? Because they appreciate everything in their life. Into this world, we don't appreciate. So if you're rushing your cup of tea to get to the next cup of tea, guess what? You'll be rushing that cup of tea because you are not appreciating the moment. So being your authentic self, being that being behind the actor, which we call a soul, and this form is like a tiny point of light. I see myself literally as a star in this physical body, and I'm speaking, I'm looking. It makes me realize, wow, I'm unique. And not only I'm unique, but you're unique. So this way, there's a passion for everything that we do. And it's appreciating this moment. And I appreciate the phone, but I'm not attached to the phone. I appreciate this body, but I'm not attached to this body. So I have found my circle of friends, since me being the real me, has multiplied unlimited times. I have found that when one door closes, 10 more doors open. But it's only when I become very much in this I, that's when I found that doors kept closing, because I was still searching for the outside. So if you want to avoid the burnout that today's society is facing, and you want to have that passion, then all you got to be is just your natural self, your true self. Okay? Om Shanti. Do you have any questions? Okay, we have a question.
Hello. Oh yeah, social media's makes you think that you haven't got enough stuff or you're not right. Don't you think? Social media's you can have it and not be attached to it, but I just use it to wish people happy birthday. But even then, I look at something, I can't help it, but it seems to be everywhere coming at us more. I've done this, I've done that, aren't I great, look where I am on holiday, la la la, and you can't help but thinking, it creates a feeling of lack in you. Don't you find that?
It's so true, because, every generation, every decade, there seems to be something new that technology brings out, and the internet is also a portal for good, but also portal for not so good. There's as well as giving happiness, it gives so much suffering and sorrow. And in the early days, I remember when Google first came out, I was one of the first ones to have a Gmail account. And at that time, they were very unknown. And I thought, wow. But those things have now become our dependency. People, first thing they look at in the morning is their mobile phone. WhatsApp, Twitter, TikTok, you know, whatever. I let go of Facebook because I realized it sucked me in. Every morning I was going in religiously to check who likes me, who said this. I have now got something like 200 notifications that I have not yet seen, because I haven't been onto Facebook for many, many years, because my happiness is not based on that. So if you have it, fine, use it, but don't become attached to it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've understood the concept of I'm not my, for years. I'm not my body, I'm not my age, I'm not colour, I'm not my hair, etc., etc. Feeling it is something else. I understand it. I went to a fantastic thing at Stanmore, at the temple there, with two swamis from Rishikesh on Saturday. And that's what she was talking about. And I've heard it for years, so I do get, you know, I do understand it. But a lot of the time really trying to feel that is hard. And one of the things that you were saying is, I've shared this many times here, what is hard for me is that I actually am an actor. And so much of what I do relies on somebody else, is whether or not they're going to give it. It's they make the decision. It's on their decisions. You know, are you young enough? Are you old enough? Are you blonde, dark? All of those things are out there and depending on them. I do the best I can, and everything is then up to them. And acting does, I love it. It's my vocation. I've done it since I was 7 years old, you know, and I really, really love it. And I'm attached to it. I get that. And dependent on it. I get that as well. And then the other thing you were saying about do what you want to do. I mean, I've written 2 plays that I've managed to do readings of that got phenomenal reactions. But I would love to put them on.
Okay.
But I need £60,000 to put them on, so I don't know.
So I understand where you're coming from. But like everything in life, do your best. Once you've done your best, let it go. It's like sowing a seed. Once you sow a seed, don't start thinking about, is that seed working or not? You know, it will grow. It will take its time. Everything will happen. And one of the things that we have to sort of really appreciate about ourselves is that we need power. You mentioned, oh yeah, all this makes sense. And you can find a lot of this on social media, YouTube, yeah. But there's one thing missing. Power. Power allows us to put those words, that understanding, into practice. So, for instance, you have a mobile phone, and it has all those wonderful apps. But what good is it if the battery is flat? So you need to recharge the battery. And this is where meditation comes in. Meditation is the art of recharging our own inner battery. Until we have that power internally, we will not be able to imbibe those points of information. And I'm sure everyone resonates with what we're saying. It's the truth. But what stops them from putting it into practice is power. Now, no one's going to give you power. It's not something that you can buy off the supermarket. That's where your attention to yourself is important. So you need to dedicate time in the morning. Morning time is the best time. So I spend time with myself, really understanding and experiencing who I am. And that gives me the power that when I go out there and face that world, I'm ready. Just as you charge your phone in the mornings or leave it overnight, I would not recommend charging it overnight, just charge it in the morning. Okay? So charge yourselves by going into introspection. Talking to yourself in a very nice way, just as you would talk to a friend, but I'm talking internally. And that will empower you. You will experience that power. You will know, yes, truly I'm a soul. And when you experience it, you will feel, wow, right now, I'm looking at you as a soul. I know I am a soul. I really know I'm a soul because I've experienced myself as a soul. And I've been doing this for some 27 years now. And still, I'm learning about myself. So this is where we need to convert knowledge into power. Power then enables us to have that self-transformation. Anyone else who wants to ask questions? Yeah.
Hi, hello. Yeah, a lot of people find it hard to be still. Just talking about the meditation side of things, because I'm all right, I'll speak for myself. I find it hard to be still because I want to run away from anything that comes up when I'm still. So I'm thinking, how long can I stand not distracting myself?
Okay.
That's what my meditation experience is like. And I know people run to alcohol and things because they can't face what is underneath when they do finally stop. They don't like what they have to. They get very uncomfortable, and these things come in your head. Oh well, I'll have even just a cup of tea, anything, just to get up and not have to look at your own self. And what could you say something about that?
As I said at the beginning, when we start looking at ourselves, we need a lot of courage, and we're going to see things that will actually shock us. But the one thing that we mustn't do is become disheartened. So we need to develop patience. You know, it's like everything in life. We don't become a master instantly. It takes time. This is why we go to school. We start gradually learning, and we move to a higher level and higher level still. Meditation is the same. I mean, I'm pretty good with Microsoft Office. I know the software back to front. I'm really good at programming Excel. But there was a time I didn't know anything about Excel. But it took me time. And once I figured it out, I didn't need any books. I was actually teaching myself by experimenting, exploring. And this is what meditation is. It's about sitting with the self. And quieting the self is not like blanking the mind or I'm trying to be still. No, it's actually me having an experience. An experience is a feeling. It's an emotion. And that makes me feel uplifted. And that's the power I'm talking about. So initially, yes, there may be a little bit of a battle going on against my old self and my original self. But eventually, if I pay attention to this, then the experience takes over and you think, yeah, I finally get it. I can be very peaceful. So I can be very silent in a world that's very noisy. And there are people who can be all by themselves who are very noisy inside. And that's not meditation. That's just allowing the mind to go in this and that direction. So what I'm doing is actually, I'm conquering myself in where my thoughts go. This is what meditation is. You know, there's different forms of meditation. This is all about meditation of the mind. It's about creating peaceful thoughts. It's having a conversation with the self. And when I do that, the experience will come. For example, I will give you a sort of a session on this. Think of an orange juice. Right. That wasn't difficult, was it? Now, you created a thought, an orange juice. Did you have to think what an orange juice is? I wonder what's an orange juice. Now, already you've been thinking about, well, an orange juice, I like it with bits, or I don't like it with bits. I like it smooth. I like it cold. I like it, it's a bit sour. So the reason for that is you created a thought, but the experience is already there. What unlocked the experience was the thought. And that's what we're doing in meditation. So when we create a thought, I am peaceful, you don't have to think, what is peace? It's already there, locked in you. You just got to unlock it. It's like if you have a file in a computer, you don't know what's in that file until you open it. And when you've opened it, you can see what's inside it. That's what meditation is. Okay? Okay, we have another question.
Climate change. Should we be worried about it?
Okay, you know, people in this world, from my experience, is that we're trying to change everyone else. Do this, don't do that. But the first person I need to change is actually myself. I am I would be wasting my time and energy trying to change my family, my neighbors, my this, to my way of thinking. It would be completely futile. The first person I need to change is with myself. I need to respect myself. When I respect myself, I will then respect everyone else, including the environment. I am very passionate about climate change. I don't want to see the way the world is going, but I also know that if I wait for others to change, it's not going to happen. I need to take that step. So that person has to be me. So if I want to change the world out there, then start with yourself. When I change, the world changes. Okay, I think it's a good time to meditate. Thank you for your time and energy, for listening, and your comments and your sharing. So let's just practice meditation. So this is actually done with our eyes open, because we communicate with our eyes open. We don't close our eyes. But it's really about disconnecting with the outside world and reconnecting with ourselves. So this is called Raj Yoga. Raj means a king, yoga means a connection. So we're having yoga with ourselves. So sit very comfortably, 2 feet on the floor. Keep your back upright. Just relax the muscles in your body. Just unwind. Just take a deep breath in and exhale. Breathe very normally. And just become the observer of your thoughts. Imagine yourself, you're standing on a bridge and you're watching the river of your thoughts flow by. Let go of all the thoughts of the day, of people, of situations. Whatever has happened, let it go. Let the past be the past. Now on the screen of your mind, create a simple thought. I am a peaceful being. I am a peaceful soul. I am the creator of these thoughts. And my mind is like a garden. And I sow seeds of my thoughts. I water them with love, with respect. And they blossom into flowers. There is the fragrance of peace in the garden of my mind. And I am this peaceful gardener who radiates peace. I am the peaceful ruler, seated on my throne of self-respect. And I rule this kingdom, the mind. And my thoughts are my peaceful subjects. There is harmony in the kingdom of my mind. How wonderful I feel knowing I am the ruler. I am the master of the self, free from the influences of the past, influences of others. I can be just me. I see myself as a tiny point of light, sparkling in the center of this forehead, looking through the windows of the eyes, speaking through this mouth. I sit here in the center of this forehead, a fortress of peace, unshakable, powerful, peaceful. I've let go of all the labels, the roles. I sit in my eternal form, a peaceful soul, a point of light, a light that is never extinguished, and I sparkle with happiness. How wonderful I am. And I sit in this silence, absorbed in the peace. I feel very comfortable with my own company. And I feel totally at ease with myself. My costume, the body, is relaxed. And I'm radiating peace. Let me just appreciate this moment. This is the real me. This is who I truly am. A peaceful soul. A being of light. Om Shanti. So if you're hearing this word Om Shanti for the first time, Om means I, the soul. Shanti means peaceful. It literally means I am a peaceful soul.
All in-house and online. And I really loved what he said. Do not accept any defective words. Don't take sorrow and don't give sorrow. And that's what we should do. And other thing, connect with your real self, not the false self. So look within, not without. Thank you very much, Parmjit. And the recommended book for tonight's talk is The Ultimate Frontier by Ken O'Donnell. Anybody interested? We have the book of answers. Very welcome to come and buy. And next week's talk is Let Faith Be Bigger Than Fear. All are welcome to join again. Thank you. Sorry. The next week talk is Let Faith Be Bigger Than Fear. And you are all welcome to join. Thank you very much again. Om Shanti.